Welcome to day 20. We're 2/3 of the way through our 30-day self-care challenge. Today we'll design a 1-hour digital detox so your nervous system can finally breathe. We live in a world that's constantly asking for our attention, whether that be notifications on your phone, emails, the news, or endless content on social media. And the thing is, our brain was never designed to process this much information in the space of a single day. Our digital detox is going to take us away from that for just 1 hour. It's not about deleting every app or disappearing from the internet altogether. It's just 1 hour to allow your system to have a refresh. And if you incorporate this often enough, then you will probably feel that your brain's less scattered, you'll sleep better, and you'll find it easier to focus. Today we're going to create a simple hour of digital detox that's simple and feels doable. If you have a journal or something to write on, then I would suggest this. If you write it down, it's going to make it so much easier for you to action this later on. And like yesterday, if you don't, just think along with me and then maybe go back later on and write it down, especially as you'll want to write down each of the steps of what your action is going to be during that hour of digital detox. Now, step 1 of this is going to be to pick an hour to do this. And for this, we need to pick a realistic hour. This isn't going to be at 10 o'clock when you're working. It's a couple of hours into the day and people are just starting to get busy. That's an hour we're probably not going to pick. So your options are likely to be after you first wake up, potentially your lunch break, or an hour after you get home from work, or what I choose to do is an hour before I go to bed. And on the weekend, it could be 10 o'clock, it could be any hour of the day depending on what your work schedule or what your weekend days look like. And when you've decided what hour that's going to be, just write it down. And that's going to be our first step of planning our hour of digital detox. Step 2 is going to be deciding our screen rules. We're going to choose what screens we're stepping away from. This could be that you only choose to step away from your mobile phone. It could be your computer or laptop. It could be your TV, or it could be all of them. Remember, if you haven't done this before, take small steps rather than big. Try not to cut everything out straight away. Go for maybe just your phone first or just the TV. But ideally, the aim of this is to eventually get down to 0 screens for an hour. And when you're choosing this, be honest about what you think you can do. Like I said, we're trying to stick small here rather than doing it all in one fell swoop. Just under where you've written what hour you're doing for your digital detox, just write the screens that you're going to remove for that hour. The next step is to protect that hour. And we can do that a few ways, which I'll list out for you. This could be to turn on your Do Not Disturb on your mobile, put it into another room. If you can't put it into another room, put it into a drawer or a bag somewhere that you won't want to pick it up. Log out of all social media. You could tell one person that you're logging off for an hour so they're aware. You can set a timer for 60 minutes. And there is a lot more that you could do to protect this time. So for like TV screens, just unplug them or switch them off at the mains. You can also buy those plugs which run on timers where it won't let you turn them on outside of that time. So there's a lot of additional potential things that you could do, but for free and cheap ones, those are the ones that you can do at this time. And what I would say is come up with 2 to 3 options for this, so that if one doesn't work, you have a backup. And once you've got those, just write them underneath the 2 points that you've already got. And now for the fun part. Step 4 is choosing your instead, the alternative. What will you do instead of scrolling endlessly? Again, this list is endless. There's a multitude of things that you could choose to do with this time. And maybe you should do some reflection on what this could be and what your body's asking for. It could be as simple as lying down, having a rest, closing your eyes and breathing. It could be going to the gym or exercising for an hour. It could be an hour of board games or cards. It could be an hour of walking in the fresh air. It could be journaling or writing. It could be having a nice warm bath, or it could just be listening to music for an hour. There are a lot more options, but those are the ones that I usually lean towards. And again, choose 2 to 3 different options so that again you have a backup if that first option you go to you can't do on that day, or you decide you want to do something else. But try and have at least 2 to 3 go-tos that you can pick from. And then step 5, we're going to plan it. Choose when you're going to start, what day of the week and what date. Choose a specific date and pop it in your calendar. Make sure it's a fixed thing that is there for everyone to see in your household. And let's be honest, this first one is going to be the toughest because you're going to be fidgety, you're going to be anxious that you're stepping away from your screen. And that is it. That's how we're going to plan our Digital Detox Hour. And like I said, plan this in and put it in the calendar so that everyone knows when it's going to happen, including you. Let's reflect on this practice today by asking ourselves a few questions. How do you usually feel after a long scrolling session? What are you hoping this Digital Detox Hour will give you? And what do you think is going to be the hardest part about stepping away from your phone or screens? Well done for taking the time to sit down and plan your digital detox. I hope it goes well, and I hope you enjoy it and find some other form of satisfaction other than you scrolling on your phone. If you do struggle with that first hour, maybe shorten it, go to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then build from there. But I would suggest trying to go for the full hour straight away and seeing how it goes. You can always cut back once you've got into that session. For day 21, we're going to do a pleasure audit, and we're going to explore what actually brings us joy and pleasure and try and invite more of that into our life. Thank you for joining me for day 20. See you tomorrow.